Let's go ahead and jump to Houston. We'll talk a little about Houston, then we'll go back to the super team and talk about that. So, DCTF's prediction for Houston, we've got a ceiling of 8-4 and a floor of 2-10. Yikes. That is a little. You're going to notice a theme, actually a consistent theme with all of these. We got a really high ceiling for these Texas teams and a pretty low floor for some of us. So, Bobby, do you think this is right on the money, or do you think that they're off course here?
That floor is absolutely insane considering we have 2 games. One is Rice and one is SFA.
Yeah.
If we start 2-0 and we end with 10 losses, I just there's just no way. Like it won't happen. Mark my words right now. I think we will be closer to that 8-4 than we will 2-10. I could see quite easily 6 wins out of this team. I think 6 has to be the goal in like what you want to see, and 7 is possible. The team really, if you look at the schedule, it sets up really nice for U of H. Your first 5 games, your third game is probably the most important in your 5, but you have a real chance to start 4-1 versus SFA. Heaven help us if that's not a win. Rice, kind of the same way, even though we lost to them 2 years ago. We beat them pretty soundly last year. The Colorado game is going to be a real, what does this team do this year? If you win that game, you start 3-0. You're going to Oregon State. That's got a ton of turmoil there. You're 4-0 heading into the Tech game. I wouldn't expect us to win the Tech game, but it's at home. Maybe something crazy happens. The ball falls your way. If you start 4-1, I think 6 is definitely possible. Like I said, I'm not a believer in Oklahoma State. I think you're going to pick off one of West Virginia, UCF, and Oklahoma State, like I said. So 2 is insane. But I think you're going to be closer to 8-4 than you are 2-10.
Yeah, well, you said 6 wins. That's actually their prediction. DCTF is their official prediction is 6-6 with wins against SFA and Rice, obviously, Oregon State, Arizona, West Virginia, and UCF.
Which I think are all very winnable games for U of H.
Yeah, right. I put them right at that 6-6 mark too. I think like for them, I think it's realistically like a 5-7, 7-5 season.
Yeah.
Especially looking at the schedule, because like we already know Colorado's going to be in a down year. We already know
Colorado is Houston's biggest game of the year, actually.
Is it really?
They're saying it's
for
the
like
biggest
margin
game because Houston will start 2-0, and then like if they can win that Colorado game, then like Bobby was saying, then you're 3-0, and you're kind of got a lot of momentum going into Oregon State.
Yeah, so like I think that you can probably pluck off Colorado. Okie State I don't know what the hell is going on, but it's at Stillwater, and Stillwater is still a living nightmare to play at.
Absolutely true.
So I do think that one's going to be your toss-up. Arizona, obviously, you guys have them at home. I think that one's going to be a very easy one. I mean, Fafita lost his best wide receiver. So, like, now who's he going to target that was, like, 78 to 84% of their offense?
Mm-hmm.
And then West Virginia, I think Rich Rod is going to take maybe a year to figure it back out. I've heard he's made leaps and bounds, but I mean, that West Virginia team is always a tricky little bugger. And then you're looking at, I think you guys can easily pluck off UCF. I think it's going to take Scott Frost. I mean, let's be brutally honest where brutal honesty needs to be taken. Gus Malzahn buried those dudes into the ground. I mean, RJ Harvey, he didn't even use RJ Harvey like he should have. I feel like that they underperformed last year. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with Bobby. I think they are far closer to an 8-4 than they are like that 2-10. But realistically, I think it's either going to be a 5-win season or a 5-loss season. I think it's really in that spectrum.
And you know what? I laughed when you said it's going to be closer to the 8-4 than a 2-10. I'm going to take that back after looking at the schedule. I retract that laugh. Some people pay players. You clearly paid the schedule maker. The easiest schedule I've ever seen.
Man, but that schedule, last year, that schedule was brutal. Start with UNLV. That one last year was rough. That was a tough schedule last year.
Houston got shafted last year.
I'm not going to lie. was a tough schedule, and they're paying it back to us this year. So.
And also,
It's
who the hell
hey,
knows?
buddy, I'm sorry. Here,
Yeah, that's on us.
have a
That's
slightly
on us.
easier schedule. We're sorry.
To be fair, a lot of the schedules last year that we said were easy and some of them that we said were impossible ended up being completely flipped. So
This was
Yeah, thank you,
Utah going undefeated last year.
Yeah, Utah, Oklahoma State, and Arizona, who everybody was saying, oh, these are going to be the top three teams in the conference. They end up being the three worst teams in the conference, right?
Absolute poopy.
Couldn't have happened to nicer folks than Utah.
Yeah.
I have to say too, like just when I was coming around after my Utah show, I had some great Utah people on. It was such a great show, and I was like,
you found nice Utah people?
Yeah, I did. I found some nice Utah people, and I was like, you know what? I'm done wishing ill on them. And then like Twitter did its Twitter thing, and I was like, you know what? F these guys again. Like,
that's my problem. I keep doing the same thing. I feel a little bad. I meet some nice ones, and then they start bickering with BYU fans and just say stupid shit, and they annoy me, and it takes up my entire timeline. And then I'm like,
all you need is Utah Pig Bus, man. He's got enough rage bait in for the entire fan base into like one Twitter handle.
He's got me blocked, and it's my greatest achievement. I've never been so thrilled to be blocked by somebody in my life.
Okay, the last thing for you, Bobby, and then I'll let you go. They got 4 breakout candidates listed for every team, but for U of H, they've got these 4 breakout candidates listed. I want to see if you agree with it or if you think I've missed one. We've got tight end Tanner Koziol, running back Jamarian Burnett, outside linebacker Eddie Walls III, and linebacker Jesus Machado. Do you agree with those breakout candidates?
Yeah, I think so. I think the other obvious names are going to be Connor Wegman, and Carlos Allen Jr. He had a really good year last year. That may be why they didn't put him in as a breakout candidate, because he was pretty good last year. But
usually they're supposed to be like unknowns, right? Who you haven't heard of yet.
But I think those 4 are going to be. I think Dave and his staff absolutely nailed that one. So
perfect. Well, Bobby. Love you, brother. I'll let you go.
I'm out of here. I gotta go record my own podcast.
Y'all listen to the podcast.
Run,
listen
Bobby.
to Bobby. He does great things.
Later, guys.
See you around, friend.